Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Football Smack Talk Show. I am your host, Ryan, and of
I'm Eric.
course, there's Eric. We have a lot to discuss today and not a lot of time to do it. Obviously, just a mere, hour or two before we're coming on. Zach Baun officially re-signed by Howie. 3 years, $51.5 million, 34 guaranteed, with $1.5 million in incentives as well. Eric, I'll let you have the floor here. Initial thoughts on Zach Baun re-signing with the Birds.
It's huge. It's the biggest key to the offseason was keeping Zach Baun. I mean, we talked about it last week. We've talked about it a number of times that this was a big piece. You had to make sure that you kept Zach Baun, and then the rest of the offseason can work itself out. And they did that. They hit their number one objective. And
it was number one on the checklist. Re-sign Zach Baun. Now,
exactly.
when you saw the contract, what was your initial thoughts?
I was happy with it. Like, I feel like, you know what, Howie's gonna do Howie things. I just don't really question him. I just don't.
I love it, because that's exactly what I thought too. I was like, the initial shock of like, whoa, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's
a big investment in that position.
That's average 3 years, 51, that's 17 mil. But you know how he don't play like that. And now he probably put some dummy years in there, and he can stretch it out. He can move money. He can hide money, put some money into the sofa, whatever.
Yeah, he hits them under a mattress somewhere.
Right, exactly.
I'm not even worried about it.
Maybe he gives a little to Big Dom and says, I don't want to know what you do with it. Yeah, you do with whatever.
He gives him the duffel bag and just says, "Get this to Zach."
Yeah. So, so I am happy that we re-signed Zach Baun. If only Howie could have had the foresight last year to sign him to like a 3-year deal for like $6 million.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, you knew how it was going to turn out, sure.
Right? That'd be awesome. But listen, regardless, number one priority. Now you move on to number two. You still have, by the time we come on air next week, free agency will have officially started. Now, not including the legal tampering period, which might be the
wink, wink. Yeah.
dumbest phrase in sports.
But
you have a week. You also don't let me forget. You also just extended one Mr. Saquon Barkley to
a move they really didn't have to do.
No.
They just said, you know what, let's just do this. And
you know what? You had the greatest running back season in the history of the NFL.
Let's get you about keeping your team happy, keeping your guys happy.
Well,
and I think that was a great move.
And what it does, it shows the rest of the league, hey, listen, the two biggest offseason acquisitions, Saquon Barkley, Zach Baun, they just got the Brinks truck loaded, backed into their driveway, and just dumped out a crap ton of money. And that tells the rest of the NFL, hey, you want to come here? You do your job? You do better than your job? You're going to get paid.
Yeah. And you got to look at it and think like Joe Burrow with the comments that he made not that long ago. Why can't we just do what Philly does? They pay everybody. Yeah. And that tickled me so much hearing him say that.
I did. And it's because Howie is a master of the cap. Listen, yes. I'll be the first to admit, I am extremely good with numbers. It's kind of my thing. And even I have struggle with the intricacies of the cap as far as like I got the basic principles, obviously, but as far as how you're able to maneuver within the guidelines that Howie is, that he's able to kind of move money, slide money over here. Like they still also have the most dead cap money all the time, and yet they still are able to function, sign who they need to sign, and move on accordingly. It's also because Howie is obviously he's from the future.
Clearly.
He obviously is able to get ahead of the curves. He's able to get ahead of the curves. Yeah. He did that with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. He signed them up, and then everybody was getting their money. And same thing with Jalen Hurts. Signed him. He was the largest, and then 2 days later, a week later, he wasn't. And a year later, he's not top 5. It's what he does.
Right.
He gets to it early. And listen, yes, he gave Saquon Barkley a bag and a half. But I have a feeling that maybe the running back market, considering the 2 greatest running back acquisitions this past year were Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. And those 2 had 2 amazing seasons for their brand new team.
And number 3 was Josh Jacobs.
Actually, you're not wrong. It was. So you're right. Yeah. The 3 best running backs last year were on brand new teams. So what does that tell you? Maybe we should start respecting running backs a little bit. Remember when running backs weren't even getting like $4 or $5 million?
Oh yeah, man!
You're like what?
They were getting paid along lines of like kickers and punters. Like it was disrespectful.
Yeah, it was bad. So they're trending up. So yeah, quite honestly, this was such great news. I was so happy to hear it. Now that Baun, we check off Baun.
Yep.
For you, what more do you want Howie to do prior to free agency? Or are you good with what things are and you want to see maybe what's out there, what things go, with free agency? Or is there one move that you want him to take care of before that start?
One Mekhi Becton.
Yeah.
That is the next one on my list.
Okay.
That if we've got a checklist there and it's in front of you and hey, give Saquon some love. Check. Re-sign Zach Baun. Check. The next one on the list, Mekhi Becton.
Okay. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. The Marina checks in. Now re-sign Rodgers, Isaiah, and Orenbergs. Sign Kuntz, that's a good one, and Landry for edge. Draft best D tackle at 32. So you're saying, well, yes, now the Slay, I keep forgetting. A lot happened this week.
Yeah.
Slay, Bradbury, they're gone officially. Now, obviously,
I didn't even know Bradbury was still on the team.
Yeah, right. Technically, yes. I think a lot of people are surmising that, Slay might be able to come back. It's possible.
Sure.
And I think it all depends on how they handle that position. Because now that Q is going to take over at the number 1, you pray to God that they don't overthink themselves and they keep Coop in the slot.
Right.
And then you just got to figure out the CB2. Now, Marina says re-sign Isaiah Rodgers. What's your thoughts on re-signing Isaiah Rodgers right now?
I'd be okay with it. I mean, as long as the number works.
No. I don't want you to be okay with it. I want what are you gonna do for the CB2? Are you going to sign Isaiah Rodgers and then focus elsewhere, or maybe do you draft somebody? Do you go after somebody? Do you trade for somebody? Do you re-sign Slay to a cheap deal if you can? Like, what is your
okay? Everybody's willing to agree to everything, right? So, like, this is just what I want.
What do you want, Eric? What do you want?
I think I'd love to bring back Slay for another year and let him be CB2.
Okay. What do you do with Rodgers? Do you bring him back too, or do you say kick rocks?
I mean, hey, if he's willing to come back, we said in this idea of everybody's willing to do what I want in this situation, yes, bring him back too.
Well, listen, with all the money that's just got thrown around and saved, and this, that, and the other, it's hard to kind of know exactly what the cap is right this split second. I know it's. Excuse me. Yeah, what is going on with me?
All right.
Nope, dying.
All right, I get your Eagle stuff.
Nah, I'm gonna be buried with it all. No.
Such a jerk.
I can't. I would never want that for my stuff. I'd want them.
I was content, but the son get his first dibs, and then I get.
Yeah, honestly, I think what great. Actually, I know. And listen, we go off on tangents here. It's what we do.
Yeah.
How great would it be? How great would it be?
Mm-hmm.
If that situation were to happen, come together and have like everybody get drunk and have like a draft for like all of your Eagles stuff.
I mean, it'd be a terrible circumstance for it.
Well, obviously, yes. I don't want anybody to die, Eric. But I'm saying I would feel like looking down and say I perish.
Sure, yeah.
And I would want like an auction style draft, like, or just like a fantasy draft, but like come up and everybody has a chance to walk the house. You look at all the Eagles stuff that I have amassed. We'll lay everything out. We got jerseys, shirts, all the clothes are on the table, all of that.
Right, yeah, everything's laid out, yeah. And ideally, this would be many, many years from now. And
hopefully, right. But so then,
me and Ronan will have, if I'm still alive. Yeah,
right. But I want people writing notes. I want strategy. I want trades. Like, could you imagine if you were like, listen, I will give you the rest of my picks. I will also give you a case of beer. And the next time we go out, I'll pick up the tab if I can get all of Ryan's jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
Because like a proud father, I wouldn't want my children split up into other homes. I would rather it go to one happy home.
Sure.
To continue my quest for 100 Eagles.
Okay, so this is assuming then your quest is not complete at this time.
Right. Yes, this is.
Yeah, I think I would tell Ronan if anything he absolutely can't get rid of, like nobody else wants, like obviously come to me first. But the number one pick for me would be your jersey collection because I would want to keep it intact.
I think the only way that doesn't happen. I think the only way that doesn't happen is if Roe comes and says to you specifically, I want the jerseys. I will.
Absolutely.
No, I shall take this quest upon my shoulders.
Absolutely. He would get. I would tell him absolutely.
And I would hope that you would help.
Absolutely, 100%.
All of this. I love how we're just having our own conversation. There's
I know
conversation going on in the chat. Sorry, we'll go back to it.
Yeah.
Beckton is a luxury.
That's a real Eagles news information.
Back to real Eagles news. Listen, I get it. I don't know how good I feel about Tyler Steen necessarily.
Right.
Listen, I think the bread and butter of this team is always going to be trenches, and if you had to pick, it's going to be offensive line over defensive line. I think either way, you're not re-signing Sweat or Williams, it looks like. I think Beckton is probably the most likely. You can get Rodgers and especially Burks for mad cheap. I think that's what I would personally do.
I think that's where the
Bald Eagle, Tampa Eagle checking in. What up? Fine with bringing Slay back for a year, but re-sign Rodgers. Ringo not ready yet. I don't agree. I think Ringo is ready. I think you just got to give
I
it
think
to him.
Ringo was ready last year. Like, I
Yeah,
think he would have been.
I think he would have been.
Baptism by
Listen,
fire. Like, just
exactly. I feel like you're right. I feel like, yeah, I hate to.
look,
I
if they wanted to say one of my ideas was going to be if you let Slay go and you bring back Rodgers and just let Rodgers and Ringo compete in the preseason and practices and training camp, and whichever one wins the spot.
yeah, I just think, like, listen, if you, I think the ideal world would be, bring back Slay on a cheap deal, have him be CB2, have him, at some point late in the season, pass the
Kind of big,
torch to
yeah.
Ringo. I think that's the way to go. After 32, we need depth at linebacker. We absolutely need depth. We only have one linebacker now. We just signed him.
Well, at least we have
Don't
that
give me
one
Oren
guy.
Burks. Oren Burks is filled in great.
Sure.
I would really, 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 really rather not have to go into the season with Oren Burks and Zach Baun as my starting linebackers, personally. That's just me. Steen is already a better pass blocker. I don't know if I definitively can say that, but I get it. I understand it. I just there's a reason why Steen was beat out by a guy who's never played right guard. Marine says, "Don't give up on Ringo. This is his third year. He's still young as hell. It's practically like you're getting a rookie that's already played. Yeah, you're already played in the NFL. I mean, he's super young. That's why drafting these 20-year-old kids is so good, because you get you almost like, it's almost like AP classes in college. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I never took
them,
but yeah,
you're learning at such a higher level, and it really, yeah, obviously, Eric, we know that. I don't know. I just not what is going on here? Not giving up on Ringo, but no, now it's too. I don't see that big of a drop off between Rodgers and Ringo. I really don't. Baun and Burks would work.
I think the same would work.
Yeah, in a pinch, but I don't want that. No offense to Burks.
It worked in the playoffs, and that's fantastic.
Right.
Do you really want to try to go into a 17-game season?
I loved the fact that we finally had a year where we had two competent linebackers. And I'm not saying Burks couldn't get there, but again, he's not gonna live up to what Dean did last year, in my opinion. He's just gonna be serviceable enough.
Boy, I hope we get to come back and play this back for you after Burks has like.
I would love to be wrong. I would love to be like, Orberg sucks, and then have you play it as he's like, winning the Super Bowl MVP or something.
Yeah,
that'd be great. I'd love to be so wrong about that. But yeah, listen, I think there's a real possibility that the Eagles could go linebacker at 32, depending on how the draft falls. Obviously, yes, I would lean towards the defensive line, edge first, and then interior. Yeah. But again, I don't know. And before anybody bites my head off and says, "Well, that guy's not going to be there," well, yeah, guess what?
Well, you don't know yet. Yeah,
you don't know.
Still real early.
There's still way too much time. You don't know that yet. We have seen it a million times before that people go all over. But
last year, when the Eagles pick, how many times were we told when we talk about a guy we wanted, like a Quinyon Mitchell? We were told, no way he's going to be there. Guess what? He was there.
He was there. Yeah. And same with Terrion Arnold. We were like, well, I guess we'll take either one.
Yeah. We were looking at man, if one of them's there, you run to the podium and take them. They were both
but both of them is going to be there. Maybe we'll just get Cooper. No, we did, but in the second round. And you blow it up.
Yeah, it was like, if you need to, you could draft DeJean in the first round. Yeah, DeJean was our second round pick.
Yeah. Steen did not get beat out. He was the starter in preseason, got hurt early, and Becton bald. I don't know if I can agree to that. I don't know. I don't think there was a decider on one way or the other. I think they were in. Yeah, I think they
that
were.
was mainly because they were starting the twos in the preseason.
Well, right, and also, but also, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, they weren't starting any of the starters, and that's what Dean. But again, I still think they were in a heated battle that hadn't truly been finalized. And then, yes, then he did get a little banged up, and that's when Becton was fully the starter. Baun and Burks would be the best duo. Oh, for fuck's sake, come on! I'm sorry, I don't mean to be this upset, but are you kidding me? Baun and Burks would be the best linebacker duo in the league. He is miles better than Dean. Then why wasn't he playing over Dean? Bigger, faster. I don't agree to faster. Could cover. All right, maybe a little bit better, but he was a liability at many times. I'm never going to sign off on that. Dean was playing at a Pro Bowl level at some points.
Yeah, no, Dean was definitely playing at a Pro Bowl level.
Listen, it wasn't perfect. It was a little inconsistent, but for the most part, him and Baun were the best linebacker duo in the league. Don't forget that. It's not Burks. Please don't hype up Burks. Burks is a backup for a reason. Hoping Ringo can step up and take a leap this year. Man, Yo's, man, me too. Ross, Yas, whatever, however. I'm sorry, I don't mean to mispronounce your name. Physically, he has the tools, 6'2", 210 with 4.37 speed. Dude, I completely agree. I am Team Ringo all the way. I wanted him to beat out Rodgers. And I just think they liked what Rodgers did, complimentary to the other guys. Now that Quignon's moving over, yeah, maybe, listen, and it depends. Maybe they re-sign Rodgers and they let him have at it again. Maybe they re-sign Slay and say, all right, Slay, you're the CB2. Teach Ringo, and Ringo's going to take over for you next year. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Because Howie loved Dean. Well, he did. I love Dean. Dean can't get off blocks, can't cover, and gets hurt all the time because he's too small.
I think that's disrespectful. I'm sorry.
Listen, I get it, the injury, and I get it. Some people went to being very upset that he got hurt and mad at Dean for getting hurt. Me, I was like, personally, I was like a father watching their son in a devastating situation. Yeah. I was crushed. I was absolutely crushed. There was nothing more than what I wanted for him to succeed, and he was. He absolutely was succeeding. I'm sorry, you cannot tell me in any freaking universe that Oren Burks is better than Nakobe Dean. Maybe at staying healthy. That's about it. I think you're over-exaggerating the
availability.
True. Fuck you, Eric. Yeah, that's all. Facts. I don't know what to. I can't.
I just love playing both of you guys against each other. But
thank you. Is it Yas? Like Ross with a Yas? I'm gonna go with Yas. Yas.
I do agree that Dean was playing a pro.
He absolutely was playing
the criticism of the 2023 Nakobe Dean, but 2024 Nakobe Dean, you're out of line saying he couldn't get off blocks.
Yeah. You got to watch your mouth.
Yeah,
talking about Nakobe Dean that way, he was balling out, folks.
Yeah, he was balling.
He was.
And I say that, and I appreciate
I don't agree that he's faster.
And I appreciate you chiming in, Marina. Is it Marina?
I guess Marina, right? Marina.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
I was just going to say Marina, but Marina's been commenting on our show for a long time, and I respect the knowledge because it's obviously there. It's obviously there.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll give you that. And listen, not everybody's going to agree on everything.
I love Shape. I'll watch Shape with you anytime you want.
And yes, maybe I may be too close to the situation because of my love of Dean. But I do watch some tape.
I love
Uh,
watching tape. Yeah, I'll watch the tape.
you can't
Let's get
tell
together.
me
Let's have a tape watching party. That sounds
you
awesome.
you can't tell me that you don't think that Kobe Dean was playing at a Pro Bowl level.
Hey, look, Orion Burks had a great playoffs though. He really
He did.
It was fantastic
When
playoffs.
Burks got thrown in, he sucked.
Mm-hmm.
When he had time to prepare,
yeah,
he was fine. He was more than fine. He did not cost us games, which I think we all thought might be the liability. Sorry. But anyway, let's not go down this rabbit hole. But anyway, so what were we talking about? Oh yeah, real quick because we do got to end the show a little quickly this evening. Let's talk about some winners and losers of the combine, Eric. Yeah. I know you taped every second of it. I know. Have you gotten a chance to watch everything?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. God, it was fantastic. Loved it.
Give me two of your top winners.
Number one, top winner. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna go with a cornerback here, Max Hairston from Kentucky. I love him.
Blazing speed, absolutely got himself into the conversation first round.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Did wonders for himself. Next
guy. Another one I love. I'm always gonna love pass rushers, and I love those guys who don't seem to have the measurables, but are like heart players. Jack Sawyer from Ohio State. I thought he was a big winner.
Wait, who?
Sawyer from Ohio State.
Wait, winner?
Yeah.
You mean loser?
No, what? So, okay. I don't know what I missed then because I was watching. I thought he had a good combine. I know he didn't run, did he? He didn't run.
I thought he did. No?
Did he?
I from everything that I saw, he did not have a good combine.
Maybe it was. There had to be.
Sure you're not thinking of somebody else?
I probably. Oh, jeez. Yeah, somebody completely different. Another name that I really liked was Farmer, the defensive tackle from Florida State. Loved him.
Oh, okay.
That's what Farmer.
All right.
So I'll give you him.
That's what it was. Marina Soren's 31-inch arms was terrible. Yeah, he's out there going.
Well, maybe it's a fellow T-Rex guy that I'm just.
True,
you know,
very true.
Maybe that's why
believe me, I was a Sawyer guy. Always been a fan of his over the last couple of years.
You know what it is? I was kind of hoping he was going to have a bad combine because I thought maybe that would drop his value. We could get him in one of the later rounds.
Oh well, that's might happen.
So maybe that's why I was kind of excited about every bad thing that happened for him.
Yeah, well,
could be terrible for his bank account, but could be great for us.
Yeah, he stumbled in one of the drills. He just
maybe that's why I had him highlighted. Because I took a bunch of notes of different players and I had certain guys highlighted, and I guess I forgot why I had highlighted them. Maybe that was part of it.
Wow. I think you need to learn how to take notes now. All right.
I was trying not to I do that too much where I take too many notes and it's like I feel like I miss stuff. And so I try to watch more and take the notes.
At least, yes. I'll give you that. His RAS scores, not very athletic, that's for sure. And listen, Howie loves him some athletes, so you can forget about him. But all right, what was two losers?
Well,
besides Jack Sawyer.
Okay, yeah. I guess I just walked away feeling really positive about most guys. I didn't obviously.
You're too nice. You got it. You gotta grind it in there and be like, you suck. Listen, all right, I'll go.
All
I
right.
thought two dudes that had a crap combine, and one of them hurts my heart. That's Harold Fanning Jr. This is a tight end, been hyping up for the last couple of
Yeah.
months. Dude is a monster out on the field. Just had a really crappy combine. Um, Definitely draft stock slipped considerably. Um, and then I'll say one that I didn't, listen, it was more of a joke because when I do my show with Dives, he hates Will Howard. And I loved the fact that Will Howard just ran through the playoffs and won the national championship. But
Mhm.
man, he looked
Yeah, he
lost
had
out
a
there.
bad combine. Yeah.
He was throwing dudes left and right. He was Donnie short hopping them. He was, inaccurate. Deep balls were awful. He
Do you
literally
think
just
any of the quarterbacks that threw had any kind of did well? I really wasn't impressed by any of them.
yeah, I
I
don't
mean, I
think.
guess Jackson Dart a little, but like,
Yeah, Jackson Dart. That's the one
yeah,
quarterback I think that could have uh, could have supplanted himself with a
yeah, I think he's definitely the third quarterback on the list now.
yeah. So
He
we have a
probably
question.
already was, but
We have a question. How much cap is left after Baun? Let me see if anybody has the updated figures. I don't
do you
know
know
if
what the number is going to be?
that's the thing. I don't. I have not
Right.
heard what that number is going to be. Usually like spot track over the cap. One of them will usually have it up, but it does not look like those numbers are available right now. Not yet, or not according to those two websites. So we will have to wait and see how that is reflective on the cap. Usually it'll come out, in a day or two. Still like Fanning if you want a hybrid tight end. Yeah, well, that is very true. The man produces, and I think. Listen, I think that has to be a factor. What they actually do out on the field. I think the combine, the measurables, all those kind of things have to factor into it as well.
Right.
Um, and it depends. Some dudes you may lean a little bit more towards what they do on the field. Some you may lean towards the measurables and the athleticism. And then
Honestly, it's
also
going to be about who you like.
and
If
also
you
yeah.
like the guy, you're gonna look at what the positives that you can find.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
And listen, the bad combine aside from Fanning, a lot of people kind of over exaggerate, in my opinion, his blocking skills or
Hmm.
lack thereof. He theoretically was graded as the highest run blocking tight end according to PFF. Take that with a grain of salt. But again, I think if he bulks up a little bit and in the process of bulking doesn't really lose too much speed, I think he really
Right.
could be a good weapon in the NFL. And again, the dude had 117 catches, 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, one on the ground. I mean, dude was just a producer. Had 17 catches and over 200 yards in the bowl game. Like, I love it. Chris, I'm still a little worried about corner two. Hope Howie can plug the other side with of Q, and in my opinion, sign Burks to help Dean until Dean comes back. Listen, I am all for Burks, and obviously Marina sure is
Yeah.
all about Burks as well. And listen, I am 100% on board with that.
I'd be
And
on board with Burks coming back until Dean's healthy. Yeah.
well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I as much as I don't want to say this, I don't know if we're ever going to get 2024 Dean ever again. That injury is just one that it's hard to come back from. There
Sure.
are there are 10 times more players that don't come back the same than that do.
Hmm.
So maybe probably even more. Um, with that,
So it might behoove you to prepare for that with, say, this little draft thing they have the end of April
that's
where
yeah,
the
the little
Giants
draft
end up
thing.
with-
Listen, there's a
yeah.
couple of draft picks I would love to get. Now, again, I don't know if they'll be there at 32 after the combine, Jahad Campbell, who had himself a very good
I was
combine.
going to ask you about him because he was another
Probably
guy.
got out of our range, but you never know. And
Mhm.
then obviously Jalon Walker is a dude I love out of Georgia.
Yeah, he's another one probably not in our range. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not might be in not might be in our range, but I would love somebody like a Barrett Carter later.
Hmm.
He was probably like a third rounder, maybe a day 3 guy, depending. I'd have to check where I'm at with everything. I haven't updated my stuff since the combine, but I will say though, what we do here on Eagles Pin Pull Network is we basically have like a draft sheet, and it shows you exactly where we have players ranked. We have mock drafts. We have the whole 9 yards. So you have from Shane Half, from Dives, Mr. Crockpot, from Mark Henry Jr., from David, from myself. So it's a really fun little thing. Usually we do it a little bit closer to the draft, but it's basically like big boards. You show all of our rankings, the average ranking of all of ours, and yeah, it's really cool. Kind of just compilation of all draft stuff. And to answer your original question, Chris, um, I would assume that Isaiah Rodgers or Slay, um, or somebody in that range probably is going to be brought in. And then maybe, depending on who it is, compete with Keely Ringo.
Right.
I would assume they're not just going to hand it to Keely. That seems, not
That
really
seems
what's going to happen.
unlikely. Yeah.
And I would assume they're not going to draft a corner early enough that would compete with Keely if they were to kind of let that go. So I would assume look for them to bring back Rodgers is the most likely scenario, or Slay if they can get a deal that works. Dean not coming back till well, exactly. And
Yeah.
will not be. Yeah, it's a really shitty timing injury for him.
Yeah. That really sucks
It's
for him.
devastating. And also, do you guys think should move out 32 and maybe get? I listen. You know how I love
I'm
wheeling and
always a
dealing.
proponent for trading down.
And listen, I think
Yeah.
there's going to be so many like decent edge players.
Yeah.
Whether it's Princely Umami Ellen, Landon Jackson,
Shamar
again,
Stewart. Yeah.
yeah, there's a bunch that could be all around in that area.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised you move back like 5 to 10 spots, maybe pick up an extra,
Oh yeah.
third.
So if you've got like say 3 or 4 of those edge rushers that you like, and you're there at 32, and say somebody wants to come up and get Jackson Dart, the quarterback and they want to
Well,
get that
that's the
rookie
thing. I think this
Like I
puts
think the
you in.
Eagles could easily trade out of that spot to
Absolutely,
yeah.
that could be a good scenario,
Mhm.
to hopefully fleece somebody into giving up some draft capital. But anyway, listen, we had a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. We appreciate. And Marina, anytime, I would love for you to come on and comment on some of the other shows on the network, because obviously, like I said, you'd absolutely know your stuff. And again, opinions are opinions, right? No to Carter as bad as Trotter, Knight, Bassa, good picks. No to Carter. Barrett Carter. Listen, I get it. I get it. I just think it would, for, if you're not going to hit on a linebacker, you add some depth. You bring in somebody who's familiar with somebody that you have on the squad and trot. Um, you know, I think familiarity breeds, improvement, in my opinion. But um, only about 5 O-line edge guys that fit us. Well, yeah, there's that factor. I think, that's definitely a good point. Is the Vic Fangio factor,
Mhm.
and what he wants to what he kind of wants to see, and come from a guy. So I'd love to pick his brain about, what he loves in his edge players. Um, to see kind of maybe the mold of who he's looking. But anyway, yeah, that's it for us. We are going to pop on out of here. We appreciate everybody for their comments. Oh, hello, Cheryl. Oh, nope, wrong one. Popped in. Hello, Cheryl. How are you? From SEC Clemson. Wait, what? From SEC. Oh, you see Clemson. You're from South Carolina, so you see Clemson all the time.
Okay.
Then do you go to the Gamecocks? Are you familiar with? I mean, one of my quickest rising guys, or guys that I'm have quickly fallen in love with, is Z-Man Worry. Love Kennard, an edge guy from South Carolina. Yeah, there's a couple of good guys on that defense there in South Carolina. But yeah, listen, yeah, Clemson just kind of fell off the map there a little bit with talents and whatnot. So, but they had the one guy that went to Texas. Who is that guy? Why am I blanking on his name? Is that safety? Makuba.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was Clemson before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him. Anyway, that's it. We will see you guys next week, and we'll break down all of the rumblings going on of the
exciting couple weeks. Yeah.
Well, the time at the time we get on,
we'll be
free agency will have just started.
Right, and like basically the whole barrage will be happening probably while we're on the air.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be fantastic. I mean, we love breaking news here on the Football Smack Talk show. I mean, we go so far back. We broke the Andrew Luck retirement news.
Yeah, the old man broke that story.
The old man pointed that out for us while we were out on location at the now defunct Champs in Collegeville.
Are there any of those open anywhere?
I don't know. I think they're all dead.
They're all dead.
Oh. Yeah, I would assume. I don't know how, but I think their cost must have been. TJ Sanders, that's another dude. Forgot about TJ. Yeah, he's definitely. I think I have him as my 5th overall D tackle. I think so. I'll have to go over my notes. Anyway, we're out of here. We'll see you guys next week. We will recap the legal tampering period and tell you if the Birds signed anybody right out the gate or any other rumors that might be floating around at that time. So that'll be a great show. And
maybe we'll just dubbing Shefty's tweets and stuff. And
yeah, right.
Have him just break the news here on the show for us.
Listen, we can have him on anytime he wants. So anyway, make sure you guys are following. Follow us right here at Philly Sports PSA. Make sure you're also following the Eagles Pin Pull Network. We got a great barrage of shows. Again, I was on 2 last night, Birds of the Round Table and Armchair Scouts. There's some other really great shows throughout. Shane and Johnny on the Shane page. Man, there's just Chalk Talk. Geez, I could go on forever. But yeah, make sure you guys are giving it a follow on Facebook or on YouTube. And if you happen to see us on Spotify, Apple, or whatever, give us a 5-star. That'd be great. All that stuff really does add up for us. It means the world. And if you feel like sharing it to your folks, your friends, your family, your enemies, your neighbors, whoever, your mailman, doesn't matter. We like it being shared anyway. But all right, that's it. We're out of here, and we'll see you guys next week. Eric, anything to add before we pop on out of here?
Nah.
Okay, gotta love it. Keeping that streak alive, and we will see you guys next week. We'll be in the thick of free agency. Have a good night, everybody.
Only 183 days to go. Happy football, everybody.
There you go. We can do this. See you guys. Have a great night.